are staffed by students. I'm Kellen Marks.
I'm Nick True.
I'm Ben Peterson.
Unfortunately, Lucas couldn't present with us today due to medical reasons. Our problem. Early on in the year, we started going to restaurants as a team, ideating and bonding together. We went out and noticed that it took very long for us to get a seat at any restaurant, and even longer for us to get our food. We looked around and noticed that there was a lot of "we're hiring" or "help wanted" signs in many of these restaurants' windows. We decided to speak with the managers and owners of these businesses, and they all came and told us the exact same thing, that they were having issues with staffing. A lot of these restaurants had problems over the last 18 months just keeping their doors open. We talked to over a dozen restaurants, ranging from breakfast, lunch, and dinner places, to Japanese and Italian cuisine, and even pizza places and steakhouses. About 70% of these restaurants gave us the exact same answer, that it was hard to keep their doors open, and that staff was getting low. Our solution. We came up with a solution to gather a big pool of students who wanted to make money in their free time. These students would be sent out to these restaurants or businesses, almost on call, like a temporary staffing agency. This would help with the business's efficiency and make it run smoother and easier.
According to Statista, the entire staffing industry in 2021 was worth approximately $136.4 billion. This gives us our total addressable market. And since our market is more specific than just staffing in general, we took the 25,448 restaurants in all of Illinois, with the fact that 75% of them come from the Chicago metropolitan area, and the other fact that 30% of all restaurants at any given point in time have reported short staffing issues since the beginning of the pandemic. And that brings our potential customers to 5,726 possible restaurants that could purchase a 9-month subscription, which brings our serviceable addressable market to 51,534 possible units of service. In Barrington alone, we accounted for 50 potential customers that we plan to reach in the first year, which we plan to have a 25% conversion rate, since we know that 30% of them are short-staffed, which would give us a market share of about 0.22%. For our channels, we plan to make a way on our website for our customers to be able to purchase and have access to the subscription. And we also plan to make door-to-door sales, such as what we've done so far through testing our minimum viable product. And these are the only 2 channels we plan to start out with. And though this may limit our reach to just the Chicagoland area, we believe that these are the most profitable and efficient ways for us to get our sales for where we want to be geographically. And what exactly is 1 unit of our service? So we would charge our customers $200 per month for a 9-month subscription, like I said earlier. And this is a 9-month subscription because of the other 3 months of the year being summer, meaning a lot of college students are able to come home and fill a lot of those different staffing gaps that these places may have. So our cost of goods for this source of revenue is expected to be a mere 3% credit card fee, or about $6 per month, which would give us a gross margin of 97%. From there, we would also charge $17 per hour per person that we send out to work at each restaurant. And 13 of that will go to the students, and $4 of that per hour will go towards staff by students. And this brings our gross margin for this source of revenue to 23.5%. In our first year, we hope to secure 13 separate 9-month subscriptions with an estimated total revenue of $14,969. And like I talked about, that 25% conversion rate earlier in our first year, which would give us the 0.22% market share. And another one of our goals is also to maintain the 97% gross margin for the subscription service. By year 5, we plan to expand geographically in years 2 through 5, of an average of about 3 towns per year around Barrington, which would give us an average growth rate of 140% per year. And in year 3, we plan to implement a high-tech website that would essentially automate our service, and so that would give us an extra 10% boost per year of growth, which is a number we got from Kerrigan Marketing Firm online. And by year 5, with the geographical growth and the website implemented, we plan to hold a 0.26% market share. And the areas highlighted in red are where we plan to be geographically by year 5.
So on screen right now are two physical ads that we send out to both restaurant managers and students here at Barrington High School. The ad that we send out to the owners have a short description on what Staff by Students is, and also has a quick list of where students are capable of doing and how they can benefit their business better. And then the ad that we send out to the students just has another description of what Staff by Students is, and then it also has just kind of our unique value propositions and how they can make money working with Staff by Students. We have put our emails and our contact information at the bottom of both ads. If restaurant managers or students ever want to reach out to us, ask us questions, or learn a little more about what we do. So the MVP that we decided to run is the Concierge MVP. And the first problem that we ran into with the Concierge MVP is that a lot of restaurants thought we had a good idea, they believed in it, but they did not want to put a bunch of students on payroll for a short amount of time. Until Nick, Lucas, and I, and along with 9 other students, decided to go to Plates and Phasian here in Barrington. And we were able to speak with their manager. His name is Luis Martinez, and he believed in us and he believed in our idea, and he had no problem with putting us 12 students on his payroll. So he gave us our W-2 forms and sent us on the way. We kept in contact with Luis for a while, and then problems that were really out of our control started to happen. First, his HR guy broke his ribs, which is never good, and then his pipes, he had pipe problems, so his kitchen flooded, and then his chef got sick, so he had to fill in all those positions, and he really didn't have any time to file our paperwork or meet with us in person. But which is funny because coincidentally, if he was working with Staff by Students, our students would have been able to come in and help him run his business more smoothly, so he could worry about taking care of those things, do them more efficiently, and our students could help him run his business more efficiently. And then the social media aspect of our MVP, we ran a week-long Instagram ad, which spent $80 of our $160 that we were given. And we were able to make 832 impressions on different profiles across Illinois. We had 16 likes on our ad, and 3 people saved our ad. We only had 22 people view our profile, which is pretty good because that's where we have another description of what we are, and then that's our links to our websites and our Google Forms for students if they wanted to sign up to become part of Staff by Students. The problem that we ran into though is we found out that once people got to our ad, we had our website, we had 0 people sign up, which led us to believe that there was a problem with our website and that people just weren't finding it using or good because of the 9 students that we ended up going to play with. All 9 of them we talked to face to face, which we realized we had more success in doing that and going to students in person than actually having it online. So we're asking for $8,000 for 4.8% of Staff by Students. $2,150 of that will go towards our liquidity cushion, and then the rest of that will go towards stuff such as our LLC, our QuickBooks, students' restaurant food handling license, which all students need to work in restaurants, in and around Barrington restaurants. And then we need, the rest of that will go towards our website development so that our website will pop a little more towards students and look more professional towards restaurant managers who will hopefully sign up to get to meet with us. And then the rest will go towards marketing so we can hand out more ads and put more ads up there around Barrington and just get our name out there a little more so people can find out what we do. We are Staff by Students. Your solution is short staff.
The Photoshop is brilliant.
How do you pre-screen students and what kind of qualifications and training do you provide?
So for training, that was one of the things we were trying to test with the MVP, but sadly we were unable to. So essentially what that looks like for us right now is we were thinking of having like someone go in and videotape each restaurant's training process for like bussing tables or dishwashing, mostly like the low tier jobs. And so then we would be able to like like a requirement and make them watch that and then like take a short quiz or something and then, or like make them do it for us and then see that they're ready to go. So that was the training process for us so far. And for the MVP, we also like asked people we knew would be like kind of reliable students, and a lot of them were able to say yes. So like Ben said, we had 9 people come in with us to play. So yeah.
So who's gonna be the employer of the student?
Oh yes.
You or the restaurant?
Yeah, so originally we were hoping it was going to be the restaurants, but like we got the feedback that they didn't want to put that many people on their payroll, of course, because that creates more of a headache for them. So yeah, we would eventually want to onboard them on as our employees so that we would be more of like a temp
Yeah.
staff agency.
So if that's the case, the $13 an hour
Mhm.
and the $17 an hour you charge, and you had $4 of gross margin, that won't be the case, because when you hire somebody for $13 an hour, you have payroll taxes that you have to pay. And in the restaurant industry with, workers' compensation, state unemployment, federal unemployment insurance, FICA, Medicaid, Medicare, all of those costs are the cost of the employer. They're probably around 20 to 25% of the $13 has to be added to it. It's called statutory burdens typically. So that's $260. That's something like $3 associated with that. So if you want to make $4, you're going to have to go 13 plus the statutory taxes at $16.50. You're going to have to charge like $20 an hour to make your $4 margin.
Yeah, and obviously that is subject to change with, like minimum wages rising and all. So that's not something set in stone by any means, so, but yeah.
And you have 9 students right now that are kind of ready for assignment.
Yeah, we handed W-2s to all 9, they all filled them out, gave them back to us, and we were gonna, like, me and Lucas went in there, handed them in, and unfortunately we were never able to get them processed, so, yeah, essentially
Okay.
they're on call.
There's ways to get around not being the employer, where you can outsource that to, they're called PEO companies that just, they become the actual employer of the employee. It's a little expensive, but at the beginning, it'll be a heck of a lot easier than you guys, managing all of the risks associated with being an employer, which is a lot. If someone gets injured on the job,
Yeah.
that's a problem. It's your insurance company that needs to set that up. So if you get closer to that, think about outsourcing the employment relationship, or better yet, get a company like Plate that is willing to be the employer of record. But there's a reason why they don't want to be the employer either. It's for all the things I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So
Is there, first of all, I think this I remember listening to this back in February. This is as real a problem as it gets. It's, turnover at restaurants has been, pre-COVID. It's always been a thing, and the ability to have local staff get to a local restaurant when there's a missed shift or something like that, I think they pay a lot more than $17 an hour to square that up. But did you think about like the training time? So I walk into Moretti's and I gotta learn how the restaurant works, and if I'm the host or a wait staff or something, I've gotta understand the menu and what's available that night and things like that. And that's unique to every location. Did you ask your restaurants what price they would be willing to pay for someone that is on your staff that already has experience at the restaurant that they would have to invest a minimum amount of time training? Is there something different that they would pay to make that happen?
So you're asking like if they previously already worked there?
Right. Or if there's a system where you have a student that can train there and then be on your available staff if they're able to. How did you derive your pricing, and did you have other alternatives when you explored that?
Yeah, so our main our main source of pricing, like we kind of just looked at what other temp agencies would charge, and kind of like, we chose a more aggressive pricing strategy, pricing like, charging a lower premium as well, for our, like, our service. And, we did ask, all the restaurants, and then like, I forget the main thing they said was, yeah, like, they would be willing to pay $17 an hour, but they're also paying $200 a month on top of that. So that's the other thing, like, they don't wanna have to keep, like, if they're paying more than the subscription in the hours of service, that's where they didn't wanna get into, if that makes sense.
So let's talk just about the subscription. What compelled you to say, hey, we can charge a subscription for this service? Did you just make that up and go talk to people, or?
So the subscription is kind of like they have access to our data, like our plan is to have a whole database of
Yep.
students. So we'll have like everybody's information, so like when, say when like I get called up to go over to Moretti's, they'll be able to see like kind of like my resume if they want to.
And are they gonna call you directly, or are you as the employer going to call or connect with the resource?
So our plan was to have like they would shoot us like a text, and then we would have like a big text blast out to our whole group of students, and then like if whoever wants to step up.
And the restaurant pays the $200 a month, whether they're using your service or not?
Yeah,
Pay for the access.
for the.
I really like that model, by the way. Gets you some recurring revenue.
Yeah.
I think one of the, excuse me, challenges you said was actually getting students to sign up, and you had done flyers to hand out, and then also you did the webpage, and it sounded like there wasn't a lot of success with that. What are your thoughts on overcoming those challenges moving forward so you can connect with that potential pool of student employees?
Well, I think like if we put like more money towards the website development, and then we just kind of put our website, because right now we don't have a website link or anything on our ads. Like when we hand those out to students, or we'll put the physical ones outside around the hallways. So you have like bulletin boards here in Barrington. Students can look at them and then go to our website and then sign up there. Also, they can learn more just when they look at the pamphlet. And then when we hand the physical copies out to more restaurants that we talk to, when we eventually go out and talk to more restaurants, we'll have our website link there too. And then they'll be able to see once we get there.
Yeah, because we got a couple emails back from Giorgio's because they were interested in testing it, but then they just kind of stopped responding. So yeah, so then we would also like have a door-to-door per se approach for that as well, as having like people go like our people go around and just being like, how does it sound to work like in your free time, and being able to be like on call for these restaurants and being able to make $13 an hour. So that's kind of our plan and approach going forward, is to market directly to the students face to face, because that's where we had our success.
I recommend that you guys do a lot of research on that, because what you may have found is that the fundamental problem is not a bad website. The $13 proposition meant to go on. So I would go out and test that, because I think that from a restaurant owner's perspective, their two biggest challenges on hiring staff like this is to overcome no-shows and to overcome professionalism issues. And I think what you guys might find is that you're going to have to pay a premium in order for your value proposition to really line up well against those two fundamental problems that you're really trying to solve. And I think it would be helpful for you guys to understand, what do you have to pay in order to get short-term help to maybe show up even like the next day or the same day, if it's a Friday or Saturday or Sunday, I would encourage for you guys to do some research on really trying to understand where that pay has to be in order to get that kind of short-term help that's gonna show up and it's gonna be highly professional.
Yeah.
And then I think you can probably charge a premium for that because you're really solving that fundamental issue that the restaurant owner has. The other thing I would suggest that you guys think about is that it sounds like you kind of got bogged down with the one restaurant owner at Plate because of some issues that they have getting the paperwork done. What I would suggest is make it easy for them. Send them in a proposal. All you need is a signature. The people will start showing up, which will give the proposal will guarantee you get paid, and then you guys do the legwork on the paperwork. So that's what I think. You guys are in a service business, so being easy to do business with is really critically important for you guys. So work on both ends of that. You want to be easy to do business with the students, and you also want to be really easy to do business with the restaurant owner. And I think that will help create that flow that you really need, that you really want. And you may find that your value proposition, that to Michael's point and others, is you're going to have to step up and maybe charge more in order to really deliver on your value proposition.
Last question.
I remember during MVP time, one of the ideas behind your experiment was that your workers would come into the restaurant having a certain level of base training ready. Did that go?
That would be the part where we end up taking a video of the restaurants that we're testing, or their training, and then we'd have the students come in and they learn it, and then we send them off to the restaurant and already knowing what they know. But since we were never able to meet with Luis or get time to actually film the testing or the training process, we never got that.
You know, I can't get, I only get one more question in, sorry. So I'm a big fan of simplifying business models in the beginning, like trying to just remove all the complexity and just, you know, nail one thing and do it really, really well. And I like the idea of your business, but there's a lot of complexity to it, there's a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of things to figure out. And so one of the things you may want to just start, like a kind of walk before you run, is just simply go out to restaurants and say, are you looking for an employee? I can find one for you. What a headhunter would do. And get what's called a job order. Take it down on paper, great. What are you looking for? What are the hours? What are the pay? You know, what's the job description? And say, I can go find somebody for you for, you know, $1,000 or something. And then you guys come back to school and you talk to every single student in this school and you say, I have a job that pays this, this, and this. Would you like to go on an interview? And you become a matchmaker. It's a headhunter. It's one of the oldest industries in the company, and they do it at executive levels, and they do. This is a use case just to bring it there. And once you start solving the need of being a provider of labor and having those customers, you can then get into temporary labor and on-demand labor and training and being the employer of record. All of that is a lot of moving parts. And you don't want to lose that vision because you have it, but starting with a vision and executing to something as complex as that might be a little bit tricky.
We're running out of time here. All right. Thank you, guys.
Very good.